Among the Yanomami, young men deliberately pierce their chests with sharp bamboo spikes, enduring excruciating pain to prove their passage into adulthood. This ritual is no act of madness, but a sacred ceremony that binds individuals to their ancestors and the spirits of the forest. Blood here is not a mere symbol. It is a living force exchanged to regulate life and death. The Amazon rainforest, home to the Yanomami, is not a sanctuary but a deadly labyrinth teeming with venomous snakes, predators, and hostile tribes. Every path can lead to death, and every rustle in the underbrush might signal attack or spiritual curse. For the Yanomami, blood rituals serve as vital communication with the spirits and as protection against both visible and invisible dangers. Central to this belief system are the shamans, known as pages, who enter trance states induced by sacred plants to access the unseen world, the realm of the hekura spirits. Through ritual sacrifices, including the offering of their own blood, shamans manipulate the natural forces that dictate the tribe's fate. These ceremonies heal, protect, and maintain the community's balance. Animal sacrifices are common, but human blood carries a unique power. Young men voluntarily draw their own blood by piercing their bodies with sharpened sticks, offering it to the spirits. These wounds are not only painful, but also marks of courage and ancestral connection. Each scar is a symbol of belonging and strength. Blood rites reinforce social bonds and hierarchy. Warriors prove their valor through endurance, shamans assert their spiritual authority, and the entire community affirms its unity and mutual responsibility. Without these rituals, Yanomami life as they know it would collapse. These are contracts with the forest and its spirits that must never be broken. Yet these blood rituals are tightly intertwined with violence. Intertribal conflicts feed on cycles of revenge and blood debts. Warfare is not merely resource-driven, but a sacred act requiring sacrifices and adherence to ancient laws. Blood is shed both as retribution and ritual purification. In a world where death is ever present, blood rites are the tribe's only means to maintain equilibrium. For the Yanomami, life and death are inseparably linked, and blood is the language through which they communicate with the forces determining their destiny. From the earliest studies by anthropologists like Napoleon Chagnon, it became clear that the Yanomami live by laws foreign to Western sensibilities. Their ceremonies are not barbarism, but complex systems that sustain order and survival, with blood as a sacred element of the covenant between humans and nature. To understand the Yanomami, one must abandon conventional judgments and embrace a reality where blood not only takes life, but grants power. Every drop spilled contains ancestral energy, guarantees protection, and promises the continuation of the tribe. The moment a Yanomami boy chooses to become a man, he faces a trial unlike any other. A ritual that demands not only courage, but a surrender to the forest's ancient will. Piercing the skin is only the beginning. This bloodletting is a sacred act, a dialogue with forces that transcend human understanding. The Yanomami believe blood holds the essence of life itself, a potent gift to the spirits called hekura. These invisible entities dwell in the trees, rivers, and shadows, watching, guiding, and sometimes punishing. Blood spilled willingly and with reverence serves as a language between worlds, a currency to negotiate favor and ward off misfortune. Young initiates endure agonizing pain as bamboo spikes pierce their flesh. The wounds are not merely physical scars, but spiritual imprints, binding them to the lineage of their ancestors and the pulse of the jungle. This suffering is not cruelty, it is the forging of identity, a rite through which the veil between the material and the spiritual thins. The shamans orchestrate these ceremonies with precision and authority. Entering trance states induced by sacred plants, they commune with the hekura, channeling their power and interpreting their will. Through ritual chants, smoke, and the offering of blood, shamans weave protection spells and call blessings upon their people. Animal sacrifices accompany human rites, each creature chosen for its symbolic power within the forest's hierarchy. The jungle's spirit flows through these offerings, renewing the bond between man and nature. The sacrifice is not destruction, but transformation, a vital exchange sustaining the fragile equilibrium of life. Every drop of blood, every incantation, every movement during the ritual is laden with meaning. The tribe's survival depends on these acts, not merely as tradition, but as a living covenant. The forest demands respect, and through blood, the Yanomami reaffirm their place within its eternal cycle. This is a world where pain and power coexist, where suffering becomes sacred, and life's force is a tangible energy passed from flesh to spirit. To witness these rites is to glimpse humanity's primal connection to existence itself. Raw, terrifying, and profoundly beautiful, the Yanomami shaman, or page, is the tribe's bridge between the tangible world and the unseen realms where spirits dwell. Through rituals involving sacred plants and rhythmic chants, the shaman enters trance states that dissolve the boundary between physical reality and the spiritual dimension. In these altered states, the shaman traverses shadowy landscapes inhabited by the hekura, mysterious spirits both protective and dangerous. These journeys are not merely spiritual flights, but purposeful missions. Shamans seek guidance, healing, and power from the spirit world to safeguard their people. They communicate with ancestral forces, negotiate with enigmatic beings, and wield influence over the jungle's unseen forces. Their role is vital. Without them, the tribe's delicate balance with nature would unravel. The shaman's ritual tools, feathers, bones, and carved wooden staffs, are not mere decorations, but conduits for spiritual energy. Every movement, every chant, and every offering is part of a sacred language understood only by the initiated. The dense jungle becomes a labyrinth of symbols and portals, where the shaman's presence bends the veil between worlds. The trance often involves visions of towering serpents, flickering lights, and shifting shadows. These visions carry warnings, messages, and power, shaping tribal decisions and healing practices. The shaman is both guardian and sorcerer, wielding gifts that blend fear and reverence. These sacred journeys influence social dynamics, reinforcing the shaman's authority and shaping communal life. The spirit world's mysteries govern everything from health to conflict resolution, embedding the unseen deeply into the tribe's reality. The boundaries between what is and what might be blur, a testament to the Yanomami's intimate connection with the mystical. In the Yanomami world, the spilling of blood is not only sacred, but also a form of social regulation. Conflicts between villages often erupt into cycles of revenge, where honor and survival demand a response as brutal as the initial offense. These feuds are deeply ritualized, governed by ancient customs that dictate when and how violence may be enacted, and just as importantly, when it must end. warfare among the Yanomami is intertwined with their spiritual beliefs. Before battles, warriors undergo cleansing rituals, invoking protection from the spirits and seeking guidance through the shamans. The acts of violence are framed not as chaotic outbursts, but as solemn duties performed in the service of justice and balance. Bloodshed is both punishment and purification, a necessary exchange to restore harmony. Retribution is often enacted through blood debts, where one act of violence begets another, binding families and villages in complex webs of obligation. These debts can persist for generations, sustained by rituals that reinforce memory and identity. To break the cycle requires ceremonies of reconciliation, rare but profound, where blood is spilled symbolically rather than literally to seal peace. The Yanomami also have mechanisms for internal justice. Social norms and communal pressure regulate behavior, and elders or shamans intervene to resolve disputes. Rituals involving symbolic offerings and public acknowledgements help maintain social order, blending the sacred and the practical. Justice is not solely a human affair, but a cosmic one, overseen by the spirits and maintained through sacred rites. Conflict, then, is woven into the fabric of Yanomami life, not just as violence, but as a spiritual struggle. Each act of vengeance or reconciliation echoes through the unseen worlds, influencing both the living and the spirits. Understanding these dynamics reveals a culture where blood is a language of law, balance, and the enduring quest for harmony amidst chaos. The Yanomami stand at a perilous crossroads. Ancient rituals, once practiced in isolation, now face the relentless pressure of modern encroachment. Roads cut through the forest, miners invade sacred lands, and diseases brought by outsiders ravage the tribe. Each intrusion threatens not only their physical survival, but the very fabric of their spiritual existence. Their sacred blood rituals, once shielded by the jungle's vastness, are now exposed to scrutiny, misunderstanding, and distortion. Missionaries and government agents label these ceremonies as barbaric or outdated, pushing for assimilation and abandonment of traditional ways. Yet the Yanomami cling to these rituals as lifelines, connections to ancestors and the spirits that sustain them. In this clash of worlds, the Yanomami face impossible choices. To preserve their identity, they must navigate the dangerous currents of modernity without severing ties to their ancient beliefs. Rituals adapt, sometimes subtly, sometimes dramatically, but the core essence, blood as sacred life force and connection, remains unbroken. Outside forces seek to exploit the forest's riches, disrupting the balance the Yanomami have maintained for centuries. Illegal mining, deforestation, and pollution threaten not only the ecosystem, but the spiritual harmony vital to the tribe's survival. These assaults echo as a form of violence against the unseen world, provoking fears of curses and spiritual retribution. Despite these challenges, the Yanomami continue their sacred ceremonies, often in secret, preserving knowledge passed down through generations. Their resilience is a testament to human endurance and the power of belief in the face of overwhelming adversity. The Yanomami stand as living witnesses to humanity's ancient pact with nature and the spirit world. Their blood rituals, once hidden deep within the Amazon's shadows, reveal a profound understanding of life's fragile balance, a balance continually threatened by the encroaching modern world. Yet, despite immense pressures, their sacred traditions endure, echoing the resilience of a people bound by the unbreakable ties of ancestry and belief. In the face of external forces seeking to unravel their way of life, the Yanomami's ceremonies remain not relics of the past, but vital acts of survival and identity. Through pain, sacrifice, and reverence, they maintain a connection to the unseen, affirming that the deepest truths of existence lie beyond the tangible. Their story is a testament to the enduring power of belief, the sacredness of blood, and the unyielding strength of cultural heritage.